Monday the 1st, 2021 at 5:30. Pursuant to the open meeting laws, any person may make an audio or video recording of this meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. Tonight's meeting is available through Comcast Cable Channel 18 and through Zoom meeting and Facebook Live. We'll have roll call. Louis Farrar.
Here.
James Hornsby.
Here.
Walter Amaral.
Here.
John Brandt here. So present at tonight's meeting is John Brandt, Louis Farrar, Jim Hornsby, Walter Amaral, and missing is Andy Liss. First on tonight's agenda is amended order of conditions NOI SE-24-728. Owner applicant is TM Crawley and Associates. Project location is 64 Stevens Street. Assessors map of E-27-4. This is continued from February 1st, 2021 meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I understand that the parties interested in this matter may have reached a settlement for us to listen to. I don't know who would like to go first. I see
Oh, good.
a number of folks
If
on.
I may, my name
Mr.
is
Keogh,
Michael
Attorney
Keogh,
Keogh.
and I'm counsel for TM Crowley and also for Cumberland Farms. And as you may know, this is a Cumberland Farms convenience store project at 64 Stevens Street. Nothing has changed regarding the project. In November 2019, the project received its approval from conservation. So we have an order of conditions outstanding. But after going through some planning, there were some changes made. The change that impacts wetlands is an 80 square foot bump out add on to the building. So the bump out was covering area that was going to be impervious anyway. It was part of the parking lot. Nevertheless, we also attempted to improve the stormwater runoff. The originally filed submittal, November 20, did that. We did have some issues that were raised by an abutter, and they were represented at the time by Mr. Dan Aguiar, engineer, and they've since also retained the services of attorney John Gushew. As a result of negotiations, we've agreed, and I'll let John Marchand and Mr. Aguiar, I see is on, go into more detail, but we essentially have a plan which will allow us with an easement to even improve upon what had been previously submitted, which I would submit to you did meet all of the performance standards, but this clearly should have absolutely no problem. We're going to improve the abutters property in terms of the surface water that is already going onto his property conditions. And with that, I'll let John Marchand speak. John?
Thank you, Mike. If I could be allowed to share my screen. Because of the late nature of this settlement agreement, we don't have official revised plans yet for this easement, but if I could share my screen, I can show you the intended location of the easement.
Alex, can you allow John? Thank you.
So if you can see here, this is the plan that was prepared where we were attempting to tie our drainage into the city drainage system to the south of our parcel. What we're intending to do is not install this drain manhole 4, not install this pipe connecting our proposed drain manhole to that, and just pipe it from this proposed manhole to the end of where the the city drainage discharges to a stone line swale on the abutting property. And it's my understanding that the proposed easement would just be a 20-foot wide easement centered on this pipe, 10 feet on either side. So that pipe would collect the entire impervious area of the site after the infiltration devices. Would be the excess runoff would be piped to that existing swale.
So the last change was the pipe going straight out, right? That was at the last meeting, right?
The last meeting, yes, these pipes were discharging through the wall.
Okay. Just wanted to keep up. Does anyone have any questions?
This is Paul Ferland from the Sewer Commission. So I would just recommend that if this be approved by the Conservation Commission, that it also be sent to site plan. I haven't had a chance to review this or take a look at this yet. It looks like a decent proposal, and it may be something that they're just preliminarily looking at now and haven't gone through the actual engineering of. But any deviation from the site plan review needs to be submitted back to site plan for their approval. So just to let everybody know.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah,
Dan
okay.
Aguirre, Site Tech CEC. As John had stated, we are in agreement conceptually with this type of design, and the property owner, who is also on the call, is willing to provide them that drainage easement to allow them to tie into a rather large stone line swale that accepts drainage from an existing 42-inch pipe, an existing 36-inch pipe, and an existing 18-inch pipe. So it seemed that rather than have stormwater discharge from the face of that wall or any other concept that we've all discussed over the last few months, this would be the least detrimental to the downstream abutter, putting it into an existing swale now that accepts large portions of stormwater runoff from the upgradient area. So we are in agreement that this is the best solution, and we would pose no further obstruction if this is the route that the applicant chooses to go.
Thanks. Thanks for working that out. Let's see, any members have any questions?
Yes,
Oh, Jim,
okay. Is that, go ahead?
go ahead.
Yeah. Where is, okay, this is stormwater near Brighton Avenue. Where is it going to, the water is now going to go into a swale. Where is it going to end up eventually? What's the path here? I can't see your chart, so if you could use words, I would appreciate it.
I may answer that. So the swale that's there existing discharges to the wetland on the abutting property. Which
Yeah.
is just to the it would just be to the west of the 24 off ramp, or it would be the on ramp onto 24.
It's connected to what on the west of the on-ramp?
So there's a wetland with I believe there's an open water pond between our property and the on ramp onto 24.
Is this related to South Watauga Pond? Doesn't that flow into South Watauga?
I don't know the ultimate discharge of that pond.
You don't know where? In other words, what I'm getting at is, this is water from a gas station, yes?
It's stormwater runoff from the parking lot associated with the gas station.
Right. Which has, among other things, oil and drippings from cars, right?
Well, yeah,
Mr. Chair,
Where does
Mr.
that
Chairman.
go?
if I may.
Yes,
Reverend Hornsby, the drainage system itself that Cumberland Farms has designed for this site is previously approved. It takes into account using water quality treatment manholes, infiltration chambers. This is just overflow from those infiltration systems that was previously allowed just to come out the face of the retaining wall. So nothing else is changing on site itself,
Well,
except with some interior piping, and it goes through treatment to remove all of the suspended
wait a
solids.
minute,
all of
stop for a
the-
minute. It goes through treatment.
That's correct.
in
And so
the-
it will be discharging adjacent to the city's drains that tie into this same swale. So this would be a 12-inch overflow that you would probably see
Okay.
flow in the higher events. And the city's 42-inch drain, the city's 36-inch drain, and the abutter's 18-inch drain all discharge to this swale, which runs about 100 feet plus to the edge of the wetland, then would discharge into that ponded area next to the ramp. And then I am assuming ultimately flows to the South Watuppa Pond. But this
Yeah,
site,
it
there's never
does.
been a question with
It
regards to. the
does. I walked it. I did walk it in good weather. And it does seem to flow into South Watauga Pond, which is why I was concerned with the quality of the stuff that's going in now. Okay, and fine. It sounds like it's about as clean as we can get it.
Okay. All right. Mr. Kenny, do you have
Thank you.
anything to add? Oh,
Over and out.
Lewis?
Mr. Chairman, I just think that I'm happy that they reached a settlement. It looks like a good solution, and we don't have the actual plan in our hands at this point. I think that nevertheless, it would be appropriate if the board wanted to go ahead and approve this amendment, subject to our receipt of the actual plan in hand.
Okay. All right. Lewis, you had a question?
I did. I suppose to kind of echo what Bill had just mentioned, it seems that a resolution is good and favorable here. Beforehand, I did have several questions in review of the materials, but just one minor point that may be a benefit for Mr. Marchand and just from my point of clarification on the sheet G07.1. It references the 1,500 gallon grease trap, but the detail shows it as 1,800 gallons. So just wanted to clarify whether that's either an edit error or there may be another trap I'm not looking at or seeing.
Okay. I'd have to look at that.
Yeah, it doesn't affect anything here, just a
No,
minor
no.
detail for you to check later on.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Okay. All right. So can I have a motion on this to pass, subject to actual plan in hand, and then we'll send it off to site plan? Can I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Can we have roll call on the vote? Jim Hornsby,
Aye.
Louis Ferrera,
Aye.
Walt Belter,
Aye.
John, aye. That vote passes 4-0. Thanks, guys, for resolving that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. So before we move on to the next one, we also have Bill Kenny from Planning Department here, I forgot to mention, and Patty Aguirre from Planning Department, which is her last day. We'll miss her. So next one is further review of enforcement orders issued regarding 57 Frederick Street and review of status of required restoration plans. Discussion of 1-2021 letter from Attorney James Marsh on behalf of Linda Baptista, owner of 57 Frederick Street. This is continued from February 1st, 2021. Do we have
Mr.
anyone
Chairman?
here for this?
Yeah,
Yes.
just let me say, I think that we can dispose of this one quickly. The intent of the board after the last meeting was that we should convene on the site with the owner's attorney and take a closer look at what's going on with those swales in the background there. Time and the weather have worked against us, and we haven't been able to set that meeting up. So I know, Mr. Chairman, you've been out there and taken some photos that are going to be helpful in looking at this. But before we can make any further recommendations to the board, we want to get out there with the owner's attorney and Paul Furland from the Water Sewer Department Utilities and see what's going on. So just request that you table it for a month and hope for better weather, and we'll get out there.
Okay, can we have a motion to table this to the next meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second. Okay, roll call on the vote. Galter,
Aye.
Lewis, Farrar,
Aye.
James Hornsby,
aye.
John Brandt, aye. Vote passes 4-0. That, what's the date will be?
April 5th.
April 5th will be on the next meeting. Okay,
April 4th?
next on. What was that?
Right, this is
April
March.
5th is the Monday.
Oh, correct.
Okay.
Sorry.
Alrighty. Next on is a report by City Planner, Acting Commission Conservation Agent regarding violation at 2450 Indian Town Road. This is continued from February 1st meeting, 2021.
Yeah, the update on that, folks, is that since we last met, I've spoken with the law department at Lakeville, Mass DEP in Lakeville, to get a sense as to whether their legal department would get involved in this particular issue. And it appears the answer is no, but Dan Gilmore, the attorney at Lakeville, did give me some helpful suggestions, which we have transmitted over to the folks at the Fish and Wildlife, particularly the individual there who's concerned with endangered species, because this does involve an endangered species, a spotted salamander. And what we think is going to be the best route to go now is to ride on our original enforcement order, which is now several years old, but does not expire. There's nothing in the statutes that set a sunset date on enforcement orders. And hopefully negotiate with the owner a phased renovation, a restoration of the wetland area that was impacted and of the habitat for the endangered species. With the hope that if we can negotiate sort of a step-by-step, little bite at a time resolution to this, that can be in the long run more productive than having our local corporation counsel go to Superior Court immediately to seek an enforcement of the enforcement order. So I think that was a good recommendation, and we're just talking, sent an email today to the folks over at the Endangered Species Program to get their sense of what we ought to do. So I think we'll have more news on that next time we meet. But that's what's happening in the meantime.
Good.
So we should, just make a motion to keep the past cease and desist order in effect?
Yeah, it's in effect. You don't really have to make a motion on it. It still is in effect. It's just table this until the next meeting for a further report.
Can I have a motion to table this till April 5th?
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Seconded.
roll call vote. Lewis,
Aye.
Coulter,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
John, I vote passes 4-0. Next on the agenda is notice of intent, NOI file number SC-24-756. Owner applicant is Paul Furlan from the City of Fall River Department of Community Utilities. Project location is 700 Wilson Road. Assessors map is Z-4-1. Filed by Wright Pierce on behalf of the City of Fall River Department of Community Utilities, construct a 1,500-foot linear 12-inch PVC sewer tended to existing asbestos cement sewer. Asbestos cement sewer will be filled with flowable fill and abandoned in place. Is Paul here?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Paul.
Good evening, Commissioner. How's it going?
Good.
So what you have in front of you is a proposal for an NOI for the Wilson Road Pump Station. The Wilson Road Pump Station is located on Wilson Road, just after you, if you're heading from Highland Avenue, heading east, just after you pass over the Route 24 overpass on your left-hand side, the north side of the road is the Wilson Road Pump Station. That pump station takes flow from multiple areas north of there. A large area of the industrial park and some residential homes over in the Wilson Road area, as well as flow from the Meridian Street Pump Station and the Joseph Drive Pump Station as well. So this pump station is kind of pretty critical within our system. The original pump station was built in the late 60s, early 70s. The asbestos concrete pipe that goes cross-country behind the pump station heading north ties into Current Road behind the old Homeland Builders building and takes an area of the industrial park, those buildings in that area, Current and Sykes Road, as far up as Lytle there. The pump station is dated, needs to be replaced. So the building on the property will house all the electrical components for the new sewer pump station. It'll house a generator for the new sewer pump station. The sewer pump station will be an underground vault with submersible pumps in it. On the side of that, we'll also have another meter and valve vault right off to the side of the wet well. So this is identical to the two that we've been in front of the commission for in the past year and a half. One being the President Ave pump station, which is just to the east of Newport Creamery, next to the President Ave Rotary, and the other one being the South End pump station, which is in the 994 Jefferson Street complex. So the building construction will be roughly about the same. It'll be a brick building, brick exterior, truss roof, meant to last for many years, as well as all the subgrade structures. With the building construction in the wet well, we are outside of the wetland area. We're outside of the buffer area. There is some work that will need to be done to make an elevated pad, to expand the elevated pad where the existing station resides to be able to fit the new station in. We will be adding some impervious within that area. What we're going to do is an infiltration, an above ground infiltration area off to the side, which will catch roof drains or any runoff coming off of there to be able to infiltrate it back into the ground. We'll have a sediment forebay on the beginning of that infiltration area. But that's outside the wetlands, outside of everything. Where we get into the wetlands is the area where we're replacing the pipe that feeds into the station. So the pipe that comes from Current Road and crosses all the way down into the property, into the back of the pump station, as mentioned, is in what's called an AC pipe, asbestos concrete pipe. This was widely used in the 70s. It's a good material, but in the harsh conditions that it's been used in over the years with the different chemicals that come from the industrial manufacturing area, we've found through issues that we have that it's eroded away the pipe on the bottom or corroded the top of the pipe away. So we've replaced sections of this line upstream from here, one being in the parking lot of the Whirlpool, the manufacturer that's over there. So we've replaced sections and we've tried to camera this section, but the bottom of the pipe will not allow us to fully camera this section. So that's why we're going to be replacing this pipe to reduce the inflow and infiltration into our sewer system. The disturbance within the wetland area is going to be a temporary disturbance. So we're going to planning to go in. We're going to be leaving the existing pipe and manholes in service. We're going to come in. There may be a temporary bypass that'll have to be set up during specific times so that the existing sewers will still be able to flow. But we'll be laying a new sewer line on the side of it made out of SDR 35 PVC pipe. And then once it's done, the area will be backfilled and be able to revegetate to its natural state. We're coming down, we're inside the buffer zone with some of this pipe relayment. And then there's other areas where we're bordering we're kind of going in and out the edge of the border of the vegetative wetland. Now we have easements for these pipes and we need to stay within those easements. That's why we're isolated to a specific area and not able to fully stay outside the wetlands. This is a gravity line through the back. So again, we are working with areas through there. So one thing that this is really going to do is reduce the inflow and infiltration from our system, like I said. So right now, groundwater is able to come in any holes or cracks or erosions within that pipe. So it may be water that should be in the wetland above that's seeping down into the pipe. So now with a new pipe in place, it'll seal all that up, and we won't be able to. We won't potentially lose wetlands waters that should be staying above and then pumping that through our sewer system. As I mentioned before, we are doing a recharge area for any increased impervious. It's not going to be a below grade, it'll be an above ground infiltration pond, let's say, with a sediment forebay on it to be able to infiltrate anything from the impervious area that we put into the pump station. So, this has been authorized through the city council as part of the $123 million loan authorization. We're currently working multiple sewer department and stormwater projects throughout the city. So, kind of a brief overview of the entire project, including the impacts to the wetland area. So if anybody has any questions, I also have Ed Watley here with me from Wright Pierce, who's our consultant on the project.
Okay. Thanks, Paul. Do we have questions from the members?
Yeah, I have
Go ahead,
a
Jim.
couple. All right, I essentially have the same question I asked about Brayton Avenue. Could you explain in words that I could understand what water are you collecting and where is it going to go? And is it being treated?
I can chip in there, Paul, if you want. We have new impervious area from rooftop and pavement in the pump station, right around the pump station area. So because there's new impervious and the flow direction is toward, in this case, it's MassDOT right away, we're required to attenuate those peaks. And so really this is going to be detained and infiltrated in a small basin. It's not a lot of area, but it's a small basin. And then that will allow a small, let's say, per gallon flow to go out that will be less than the discharge that we have now from the site in existing conditions. Hopefully that answers your question.
So the water you're talking about is stormwater.
Yes. So right, we have one aspect of the project which is to attenuate the flows from the pump station that are created by the extra impervious area. Right now, there's very little. And then really the
Oh.
main part of the project, which is 99% of the reason that we're here, is that we've got to relay that new sewer line, and
Right.
it's going in and out of wetlands. So there
Right.
won't be any water discharged anywhere other than the contractor may have to do some localized dewatering during construction, in which case they'll have to use sedimentation tanks to make sure that it comes out crystal clear before it goes back into the wetlands. And then
Ah,
when it's all
okay.
done, they'll be cleaning up the area as they go. They won't open up the whole thing at once. They'll kind of
No,
move up from downstream to upstream and
No.
go section by section.
no, I'm concerned actually not with the construction of it. I'm not with the construction of it or the replacement of stuff after, so that the vegetation goes back to where it might have been. But to actually the whole sewer line, I guess is what I'm raising. I heard reference to, Mr. Furlan had made reference to some caustic materials that had eaten out the previous pipe.
Yeah, so not necessarily caustic materials. There are different industrial uses up in that area.
Yeah, right.
Vital Air being one of them, Maytag being another. And those industrial uses over time. And we found this in many areas with AC pipe. It either erodes away the bottom or it erodes away the top.
Right, that's what you said, yeah.
Yeah, we do have an industrial pretreatment program within the city that monitors any industrial users. So anybody that may have any type of chemical discharge into our PWTS, we do monitor them. They have reporting that needs to be done. We do sampling multiple times a year on all of those industrial users. But there's not any requirements to do continuous sampling.
Not any requirement to do what?
Continuous sampling.
Okay. So that there is not any, so that the caustic, I would call it caustic, to industrial waste here. Is that a fair term?
I would say discharge from an industrial user.
Okay, discharge from an industrial user. Is any of that, does that just go into the wetlands?
No, that's all contained within our sewer system. And that eventually makes its way down to the treatment plant on Bay Street and then discharge.
Okay, so that would go into the existing channel that runs essentially parallel to Route 24?
No, nope. That also.
How would it get there? How does it get to Bay Street? That's
So it goes into it stays in the pipe. It goes to the pump station. It's pumped up at this point. Travels down Wilson Road to our central. Hits Alton Street pump station. It's pumped up at Alton Street. Goes down to the Central Street pump station, and then from there it goes into our main interceptor drain at Broadway, and then by gravity flows all the way to the treatment plant on Bay Street.
right. That's what happens out to Broadway. Thank you very much.
Louis, I think you had a question? You're muted. Louis, you're muted. Unmute.
Sorry. I'll repeat that. So there is mention of soil erosion control measures. Maybe I just missed it. I just didn't see a figure of where that may be located. I imagine that would be within the easement.
Yes, that will be within the easement. There are going to be some. There's going to have to be some work that will take place outside the easement in areas that are pretty well undisturbed now. Basically, just gravel, fields of gravel. But the contractor is going to need to provide a SWIP before construction, and then because we're just surrounded by wetlands on either side, they're going to need to put together a site-specific erosion and control plan that matches their sequence of work. We can't necessarily tell them exactly how to perform the work, but along with their sequence is going to have to go, a robust erosion control plan, so we don't end up, getting tripped up during construction and having to come back to you.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, in reviewing the document, it seems pretty comprehensive and aside from not seeing a soil S&E plan, then I have no further questions.
There is a S&E plan way toward the back that it's very bare bones. It's really just barrier at this point, but it's going to have to be more because of the sedimentation basin that they'll have to use.
Yeah, so, and through all of our construction projects, we do have full-time site resident inspector through all of our construction projects to maintain that all, all guidelines are met, so.
Okay.
And I did send you over, Patty, the notifications, and do you need me to share screen and kind of show those to the commission, or are you pretty good on that as far as advertisement and abutter notifications and all that business?
Oh, Bill's shaking his head. That should be fine. If you could just mail me in the originals, so we'll have them for the file.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
took a look at all those submissions. They're all in order, but do send us the originals. for the
Yep.
file.
Bill, do you have anything to add on this project, or?
No, I think everything's in order. It was a very good presentation. And I recommend you issue an order of conditions with just the usual conditions. The report had a lot of detail about how they're going to conduct the project, and I think they covered it.
Okay. So can I have a motion to?
Oh,
order
by the way,
conditions?
Chairman, I might say, I think this is correct, that the SE number is a presumed number. We haven't actually received the actual number from Lakeville to assign to the file yet. So we just used the next one in order. We're guessing that's going to be it. And it'd be a big surprise if it turns out not to be it, but we can't actually issue the order until we have the email from Lakeville with the official number. So we expect that in a few days, but if you could approve the issuance of the order of condition, subject to our receipt of the actual file number from Lakeville, that would be the right way to go.
All righty. So can I have a motion for soil erosion control plan to put in effect? And then when we get the NOI number from the state, we'll issue the order. Have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Seconded.
Roll call. Louis?
Aye.
Jim?
Yes, aye.
Walter?
Aye.
John? Aye. All righty. Vote passes. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And next on the agenda is election of officers. We'll start off with nominations for chair.
John, Andy's not here. I don't know if you want to still do it or table that, or still have him without Andy. I know the zoning board last week or the week before tabled because they didn't have all their members, but it's up to you guys what
Well, does Andy want to be the
you want to
vice?
do. I would assume he still wants it. He didn't say otherwise.
Fine, we could just elect him and then
Okay.
elect,
Okay,
we
so-
could. I'm not saying we should. I just said we could, and the president, both the president and vice president, there's a slip, isn't it? Not the vice, not the president and vice president, the chairperson and vice chairperson. We could keep them, or I don't care. Get it done.
We've got to make a nomination first for the chair.
Well, I'll nominate you, John, for, I'm not even gonna use the phrase, is it chairperson?
Chairperson, yes. Second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, we'll vote on that. Louis,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Walter?
Aye.
All right, so John Brandt will remain the chair. Vice chair nomination?
I nominate Andrew Lewis.
Second.
Second, third.
Roll vote on that. Louis,
Aye.
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Walter, aye. Vote
Aye.
passes 4-0. So the offices will stay the same. John is chairman, John Brandt is chairman, and Andy List is vice chair. Next is approval of the minutes from February 1st, 2021. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second that
Walter?
motion.
Roll call vote. Louis,
Aye.
Jim,
Abstain.
Coulter,
Aye.
I'll
John,
explain.
aye. Vote passes 3-1 abstain. Would you like to
That
explain?
explains, because I am not able to read the minutes, and I neglected to do it before I had my eye thing.
Okay, understandable. Alrighty, any public input? Seeing none?
Who made the motion to accept the minutes? I missed that one. Oh, wait, never
That
mind.
was Lewis.
Yeah, and Walter. Okay.
Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Seconded.
Se-
Okay, can I have a roll call vote? Louis,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Coulter?
Aye.
Aye, vote passes 4-0. That'll do it.
John, let me say it's great to see you with good service. This has been a really great meeting.